Hello everybody, Sky here, and today I'm going to be showing you guys my brand new Ballora puppet. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, this one has technically been in the works for a really long time. I just sort of took like a year break on it. So I started making a Ballora puppet ages ago, and I just had parts of it sitting down in a box on the bottom shelf here, and I finally decided to try to finish up doing some more of the sister location characters. So I want to I kind of did a poll a little while ago, and you guys are still interested in the sister location characters, so I'm gonna try to finish out the roster for them. But then afterwards I'm going to start getting more into the newer characters like the Security Breach, Glamrock animatronics, and so on. So I'm going to be trying to build puppets for various characters as I'm working on other projects in the background. So stay tuned for all that, and now let's get into the Ballora showcase. Woo! I'm pretty happy with how she turned out overall. Like, this might be one of my more accurate puppets that I've done. If you guys are wondering how I got her face to look so realistic, was I had a hairstyling mannequin, thank you Katie, that I was allowed to rip apart and turn into this puppet, so that's what I did. I basically cut it up and painted it and attached it to the rest of it, so like the 4 face panels are from that, but then everything else on the character I built myself. So yeah, this is probably one of my, I'd say top 3 most likely to get possessed by some evil killer spirit and like murder me in my sleep puppets. The other 3 would be probably Springtrap and I don't know, probably Buff Helpy down there. I don't know. But yeah, so cool thing about Ballora is not only does she have sharp teeth that open and close when I use the little mechanism here, she also has eyes that open and close so she can blink. That's spooky. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. If you're wondering how it works, here is a profile shot. I use a clip to move the mouth, and I use this other little piece right here to be able to open and close the eyes. I filmed a little thing on my phone a while back while I was still working on this, so you guys could kind of see the inner workings of the eye mechanics. So here is that right now. And yeah, it's pretty simple. It's basically a bunch of pieces that kind of rock on and off of like dowel rods and stuff, and basically if I push up on this piece it holds it shut, and then if I pull down on it it opens them. It doesn't even move that much, so I could technically do it with one hand if I wanted to, but it'd probably be easier in the long run when I actually use her for a project to just have a green screen suit on and kind of just use both hands for it if I need her to like open and close and talk and stuff. And yeah, so here is a close-up of her face. She looks a little bit more on the stoned side if her eyes are open a little bit like that. Let me get this light here so you guys can actually see what I'm talking about. But yeah, so she's got her little hair pieces up here. I think they turned out alright. The bun was kind of fun to make. I used half a styrofoam ball and kind of carved it a little bit. There is a line on there where the face plates are supposed to be, but I didn't end up like painting it or anything, so it's very subtle. If you guys are wondering why I used felt for the hair of her, I kind of wanted her to match the aesthetic of all of the other fun time characters that I've done so far. So majority of them I have put fabric on top of them, even though they're supposed to be kind of like a hard plastic / metal material, but I just personally think they look better with the fabric on top of all that because it's a little bit harder to I guess see the cardboard underneath, if that makes sense. But I did two things new on this character. So I did the special face here, and it's just like painted. But then on the back, I did a new technique that I'm going to attempt to use with the glam rock animatronics when I eventually get to building them. Is I built the thing out of cardboard, but then I coated it in a kind of thick layer of foam clay. And then with the foam clay, I was able to kind of score it and make it look like there's an indent here for the face panels. So this is all one piece, and it's a lot smoother than it was because there was like cardboard seams and stuff. So I think it turned out way better than it did before. And yeah, I'm thinking I'm gonna use this technique when I eventually try to do the glam rock animatronics. But yes, now it is time for the fun part. Her face does open up. It's held together by magnets, but essentially I didn't really install a way to keep them open. The bottom face plates open up and kind of stay out on their own, but these top ones, I didn't end up installing anything to keep them open. I might eventually try to add like a little bump like right here that I could hide a magnet in to like flip and lock it open. But at the moment it does open, but for it to like not fall apart and like immediately close back up, I have to hold it or I have to kind of film it horizontally. But yeah, here we go. So here is her endoskeleton. As you can see, the mouth opens and closes just like the toy animatronics. It's got the same mechanic as them, and I basically painted the inside of the mask black just so that it's less noticeable once it's open. The top parts do open up. It just takes it a second. Come on. So it does open up fully to kind of show off a more endoskeleton-esque look on the inside. But like I said, these top two pieces don't currently stay open. I have to hold them or film her more like this to keep them open, which isn't the worst thing because majority of the time that Ballora is ever in anything, it's with her faceplates closed. So yeah. But yeah, I think the eyeball mechanic is probably one of the most cool / complex puppets like mechanics that I've come up with so far. And I just think it looks really cool with her eyes being able to open and close and like blink. So yeah. And another little fun detail that I did was I added some conduit tubing connecting to the lower jaw. And normally I try to keep this piece separate from everything else, but since conduit tubing can kind of bend slightly, it doesn't affect the opening and closing, but then these pieces kind of bend a little bit when I open and close it, and it kind of looks like more of the endoskeleton is actually like moving as her mouth is opening and closing. So yes, magnets. Crazy stuff. So at the moment, I don't really have a great way to display her. I'm thinking I might change up my setup a little bit and kind of go for more themed shelves. So like this shelf is themed as Bendy and the Ink Machine, and that's like the only real themed shelf I have at the moment. But I'm thinking eventually I'm going to sort of change everything up and maybe have a sister location shelf, a Five Nights at Freddy's 2 shelf, and so on. So to prepare for that, I kind of used a couple containers I had lying around and some duct tape and made a little storage thing like so where she can sit and not like fall over and have her face explode off or something. So this is how I'm gonna display her for now. I might eventually turn this into more of a display piece where it's like maybe here up in like her neck, so it looks more like the top part of her actual body, but like it would mainly just be for display purposes. When I actually go to use her in like a horror short or a music video, I plan on stop motion animating my custom Ballora figurine, removing the action figure size head, and then green screening in this more accurate, detailed looking head. And if you know my videos, you know kind of how it'll end up looking. And I feel like the two of these things combined will be quite terrifying. In fact, I am kind of planning on eventually doing the one Fazbear Fright's horror story that was based around Ballora. I just have to kind of re-watch what the video or what the story was about, because I've totally forgotten what the plot of that one was. But now that I have a full way to make a Ballora in a video, I can probably do that. So stay tuned for that, but it's probably gonna be a while. And now, for the size comparison you guys have all been waiting for. With the life-size pan stand, Ballora is the size of a head. And then lastly, I'm gonna show you guys what she looks like with Scrap Baby, because I don't have a circus baby at the moment. She is on my to-do list, I just have not built her yet. So yeah, Scrap Baby here is a hand puppet and is massively heavy and is a little bit more on the janky side because she's technically one of my older puppets. Her mouth can kind of open up and close really funky like that, and I always had to be like a little bit of movement rather than just like a lot of movement. And she's only got the front of her face, unlike Ballora here, who is way better, a lot lighter, has eyeball mechanics, and has a back of her head. So this puppet I can use way better in like a project. I can get like dynamic angles, like special angles from like camera positions and stuff. I can get like the back of her facing away, unlike Scrap Baby, and so on. So Scrap Baby is probably one of my most, I guess, obscure, like, I like how she looks from the front, but I can't really use her in a lot of projects kind of things. But now that I've made a Ballora and it turned out pretty good, I think I'm going to attempt to do a circus baby in the same style as Ballora. So yeah, alrighty guys, I hope you enjoyed this showcase on Ballora. Stay tuned for future puppets and future projects and stuff. I highly recommend you guys checking out some of my playlists of older puppets and like other things if you are new here, so you can kind of get an idea of all of the things I've built already and the stuff I still have planned. I do have some really fun projects in the works, so you guys are gonna have to wait for that, but stay tuned for that and feel free to subscribe and all that stuff. Follow me on Twitter, actually, Skywarped33. I'm almost at 1,000 followers on there, so that's pretty neat. And yeah, with that much being said, I got wow, ow, my brain. With that much being said, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye now. Ooh.